Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how we are the pressure. We are the pressure. I know we talk a lot about how the enemy applies pressure to us and about how we got to go through a lot of these obstacles and trials and tribulations just to move peacefully in this realm. But when you process and you actually think about everything that's actually happening, we are that pressure. We the ones coming with all the value. We the ones coming with all the sauce, all the drip. We the ones coming with all the ideas, all the motivation, all the inspiration. And the thing is, even for the ones that aren't the ones who lead in that department, you know what I mean? You still bring so much more value and substance to the table than a lot of these oppositions. We always discuss and talk about how much pressure they apply on us. And we forget to acknowledge how much pressure we apply just by waking up. Just by smiling and going through our daily routines. Just by opening our door and leaving out the house and being ourselves. We apply so much pressure on the ones around us. We apply so much pressure on society. You have to really understand how much pressure you are in the spiritual realm first. Spiritually, how much pressure you are to have the opposition, the demonic demon team, gang stalking you, doing things to tweak your technology, using some of these weaker vessels to kind of get at you and to spin your energy around. You have to be pressure on a whole nother level for these entities to focus that much energy on you. You have to understand how much pressure you are because you don't even focus your energy the same way they do. A lot of us, because we are taught to, what you go through, it makes you stronger, better, blah, blah, blah. It does to a degree, but that doesn't take away from the amount of attacks that happen. I'm never going to say, oh, they punched me in the face. Oh, I had to go through that. No, what I had to go through was I had to whoop their ass back for punching me in the face. I didn't have a choice because once you hit me, now I'm forced to respond. It's kind of like when you go to the doctors and they take that little thing and they slap your knee, bop, and it shows you how your body naturally, physically reacts to certain nerves being hit. And it's also a sign to show you that you are not your body. You are not this vessel. How was a doctor able to slap your knee and move it and you are literally doing your best to try to keep everything stable and still? We are pressure on a whole nother level. I don't want us to get to the point to where all this self-help guru shit is making people feel like, for one, you don't need to speak out. For two, you don't need to be a percentage of responding, reacting. Everything is in percentages. So you will have to respond/react. You will have to react/respond. It's a recipe. Everything is a recipe. A lot of people say, oh, well, you should be responding versus reacting. They kind of go hand in hand together. And especially once you start vibing and pushing to a more insightful and enlightened, height, you will understand that they go hand in hand together. So when you start grasping the concept of your life, what's been going on with you, how you just been waking up, going through your regular life. You could have been in the house with your parents growing up and your siblings, and your sibling want to throw your toothbrush around or hide your clothes from you or take your shoes or wear something that you told them not to wear. They do all these little subtle things because you are just naturally pressure. Even your style when you go out to grab stuff, it's just naturally pressure to them. Everything that has to do with moving in just a more joyful light. Things that we don't even acknowledge because it comes so natural to us. You know what I'm saying? Like fingernails, you don't have to acknowledge fingernails. That was a bad example because I know women do this thing, but I'm thinking as far as I'm a man. we don't process our finger. We don't think about that. You know what I mean? That's just something that's just there. Simple form. Don't dive into it as far as the fake nail process, blah, 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 and all that other shit. You don't have to do a whole lot to your nails. They just are. And then you can you can go into a location and all of a sudden, like, you shake somebody's hand or you go to hand somebody your card, you know, and then they happen to see it and, oh, you got clean nails, or something in that manner, which just naturally is. You got to understand how powerful that is. You really have to understand how powerful that is, to be that much pressure in a society where your energy is only focused on light. You haven't been focused on, you know, extorting people, getting over on people, you know, not being a person of your word, male or female, you know what I mean? Like, just being in a bunch of witchy ass vibrations. That's not the space that you are in. You know, anytime you have like new ideas or anything, or you could just be speaking with someone. I had this happen as an example. A buddy of mine came into town. He hasn't been in my area in a few years. He came into town. He's like, oh, what's up, bro? I'm back into town. Blah, blah. Me and him parlaying over the phone. We going over some business ideas. Because for me, I'm always going to pull substance in there. I don't care if it's the crumbs at the bottom of the bag. I'm going to rip the plastic bag or the aluminum bag open. We're going to get them crumbs out. Long story short, he was talking to me about a brick and mortar location to start doing car work. You know, he pretty dope on fixing cars and stuff. But for me, I'm one of them people that I like to get my feet down. You're not always going to be in the best situation. So sometimes you just got to learn how to put your feet down. So I say that to say, like, he didn't have the finances. He wasn't set up for the brick and mortar location. But he could be a mobile mechanic. And him telling me about his brick and mortar, it put me in a space of diving into his space. I can dive in people's spaces when I want to extremely well, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us can, which is why we're able to kind of help others in certain spaces where they wouldn't be able to get it from if they went to the system. I implanted that idea on him a couple days ago. Yesterday he hit me back, and me and him was talking and building, and he was just saying he talked to his pops, and his pops thought doing the mobile mechanic work would be a great idea, you know. And he one of them people that, you know, he a pretty good dude. He always got good intentions, you know. He just don't have the same inspiration and motivation as some of us others out here do, because of, you know, his own stuff he got going inside and the lack of people around him. But I knew he was reaching to a better light and a higher light, because he didn't have to reach out to me when he got back, and when he did, he already know what kind of man I am, so he already know how our conversations, our vibes was gonna go. Not saying he knew he was gonna get ideas, but as we progressed in the conversation, I dove in, because I'm always looking to heal and help others. I don't care if it's small and subtle or if it's big and major, you know. And yesterday we was parlaying, talking, and, you know, he got a lot more momentum behind actually wanting to do that, because we talked in the beginning when he got back. We didn't talk about those ideas for the next couple of days. I sprinkled them out there to him when we would talk. I'll ask him every day when he called me, or if I call him, like, bro, you know, you get your logos and stuff, you start processing how you want to do the business cards, you know, just little subtle things that you could do right now as far as for him and where he was working at. But those couple days passed, and he hit to, you know, yesterday, and was just like, man, like, I could feel his spirit had just been so picked up, and he had so much more belief in the process of actually being able to start the mobile business first and then going into the brick and mortar secondary. I say that to say that pressure came naturally. He didn't have to tell me to dive in there to help give him ideas. Like, nah, you got my personal number. That means we are on a certain level and frequency. So if you get my number and we communicate and engage, and me and him got longevity, and, you know, that's just like naturally the space that I take up and the energy that I give. So I know that a lot of us naturally do these things. You don't have to tell us to do these things, which is why when we have to tell people to do shit, We look at it like it's weird, it's unsincere, it's not genuine. You know what I mean? What's the catch-22 that's coming on the behind of it? But you are the pressure. I know the system applies a lot of pressure. They have to overcompensate for us just being us. The system has to overcompensate for us being us. I have to manage dealing with my BM attacking me and doing all kind of weird shit to me, fucking with my daughter's energy. My daughter's afraid of her mom, but she deals with her because that's her mom. I grew up in the same kind of household structure, so I don't tell my daughter to hate her mom. I teach my daughter how to manage and balance her energy when she's having to deal with witchy motherfuckers who do have control over her life. You know what I mean? So her mom has to keep applying pressure to me. I'm living my life. I'm not processing what the hell she's got going on over there outside of my mini safety and well-being. You know what I mean? She got to go out here and whore the whole town. She can do it. You know what I'm saying? If she don't want to go out here and whore the whole town, she don't have to. Either way, I'm saying I don't give two fucks about my BM. Hood, we can swipe left on that motherfucker like DC Young Fly, and I would be cool. My world would probably actually be a little bit smoother. But that's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? But I say that to say, like, that's just a small example of how, like, they have to keep applying pressure. Because we are naturally pressure. You don't walk outside. You ever seen one of those the fire hydrants when it's actually open? Them shits have a lot of pressure on them. Unless you catch one that's turned down a little bit and you can see it barely coming out. Most of those have a lot of pressure. So if you was to ever approach a fire hydrant when it's open, you would have to walk with a firm balance so that way it's not pushing you back. You have to walk applying pressure. Your walk naturally has to be pressure. See, we are the hydrants. We're naturally pressure. We don't have to try. It just comes fluently. You know what I mean? And that just comes from our morals and our values that we stand on, that we always wrote on before we even knew that we was following certain principle, morals, and values. You know what I mean? So just remember, like, you pat yourself on the back, give yourself a little bit more credit. You don't have to have all the money in the world to be of high ranking in the spiritual realm for the Creator. You do not have to have all the money in the world to be high ranking in the spiritual realm. You don't have to. Money is the tool. Like a tree, like a gun, like anything else that you use. It does not determine your value, your ranking, and your levels in the spiritual realm. Because what would happen is, say the system shut down right now, money would be null and void until things start getting restructured, and you would still need to stand on certain principles, morals, and values. Simple. You know what I mean? Clap, pat yourself on the back. We are the pressure out here. So they're gonna have to overcompensate. You know what I mean? But I ain't wanna run up too long. Tapping anything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.